corporates. It was a good showing coming in from Granules in the third quarter, with steady growth across segments. The revenue came above estimates owing to higher paracetamol sales, as well as margins. Well, they were maintained closer to around that 17% odd mark. We have Mr. Krishna Prasad, the chairman and managing director, who joins us on the show. Morning, sir. Thanks so much for joining in. Well, I wanted to focus on the margins first up. They've been maintained on a sequential basis at around, that 17% or thereabouts. But when does it get back to around the 25-30% that you've seen not too long ago? Have margins bottomed out? You've indicated that price increases have come about. So do they move up from here? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, things can only get a little more positive from here going on. And basic reason for just maintaining the old margins is even though the prices of some of our, like especially paracetamol selling price has gone up, it's only passing on the raw material cost to our customers. So that's one of the main reasons. And also this quarter, we had our segment share of FDs has fallen by about 3 to 4%. And FDs being more profitable, that's one of the reasons that margins could not improve. This fall in FD sales is mainly because of rationalization of inventories by our customers in the US. And we already see some positiveness, and this correction already has happened, and we see some uptick in FD sales going forward. So we see that things can improve. How much is something I'm not sure, because things are still certain, freight rates are still high. But going forward, we see some improvements quarter on quarter.
Mr. Chigurupati, good morning. So, in your conference call, you did say that you expect easing of availability of raw materials because the major supplier of the key raw material for paracetamol, that plant is expected to start very soon. Can you get back to those? I know you don't want to give me a figure, but from 17%, you used to enjoy 25-26% margins as early as about 4-5 quarters ago. Is it fair to assume that at some point in FY23 you could get back to those levels?
No, definitely we will be crossing 20%, 21%, but 23%, let's see how things go, Sonia. So many uncertainties around, I don't think we can hazard any guesses.
Okay, Mr. Chigurupati, good morning. The one thing with paracetamol sales also is that last quarter in some sense was an exceptional one, right? We, as a country did consume a lot of paracetamol. So can't take that as perhaps a trend line?
Not really. Even though there's demand for paracetamol, we don't have enough production. We have been operating at only 60% of the production due to raw material shortages. So there's been shortages across. And moreover, we don't sell too much in India. We sell only the APIs. All our FDs go to Europe and US. So this really has not changed anything for us.
Okay. Your plant in Virginia was inspected and there were 3 observations. If you could tell us the nature of those and the remediation, by when do you expect that?
No, those are very, very minor observations. And I think in this week or next week, they will all be complied to and responded to.
All right. You mentioned that you're going to get to around the 21% odd mark. That's the hope from here on. When is it? In the first half of next fiscal?
No, definitely in the next fiscal, but like I said, with so much uncertainty around, especially freight rates, we just cannot hazard any guesses.
All right. Today. What do you end this year with in terms of revenues? You've already done a 12% growth. What do you end this year with? And also, given you have some capacities that are coming on stream, you're quite optimistic on a couple of launches. Where do you, what do you see in terms of a growth? You give us a rough guidance for FY23.
No, FY23, again, like I said, definitely we should be maintaining this growth at least for FY23.
Double-digit growth?
A growth of whatever we did so far, 12% to 18%, we should be, 12% at least we should be doing. But again, like I said, with so much uncertainty around, this is wishful thinking. But like I said, new capacities coming in will definitely help us. New launches will help us. And I'm fairly confident we can do this. Yep.
Okay. Just a couple of more smaller questions. Freight cost is something that has hit the entire industry for very long now. Can you tell us, compared to say 6 months ago, where I'm sure the costs were much more elevated, how much have freight costs come down by, and as a percentage of your margins, how much is it now?
Freight costs from 6 months ago have really not come down, but as a percentage of our sale, we actually sell high volume, a little medium value or low volume products. So the freight becomes a very important component of our revenues. So it can go as high as 4 to 5%.
Okay, so
today.
you're saying that freight costs have not come down at all compared to 6 months ago. So that seems to be the bigger issue for margins. Got that. The other thing I wanted to ask you is you've received some approvals for drugs, about 4 approvals from the US FDA in the last 1 month. What is the potential size of these drugs and what kind of growth do you see in the US formulations business?
These products, we received actually 3 approvals in the US. All these 3 put together, the market size could be around $400 to $500 million. And I don't think these products will grow as such, but our revenues from the US, the main driver for growth this year, coming year too, will be the US and Europe, partly Europe. So most of the growth is going to come from the US itself, whatever growth we are anticipating.
Okay, you're also talking about getting into new markets. I believe we're looking at the Canadian market, the South African market as well. How big do you think new markets can be as a percentage of your business, say by FY24?
FY24, the new markets with the new products, or maybe let's say new markets. Today we are in these markets around 25 to 30%. So we should be getting to another increase of 5 to 10%.
So around 35 to 40% will come in from the new markets. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, we'll leave it at that, sir. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us an update on the business. So that is Granules India. They've seen margin pressures and they say that freight costs are something that continue to be elevated. However, they've one of their key suppliers of the raw material for paracetamol, that supplier has now kick-started their plans. So a little bit of easing of the supply side constraints for Granules India, and the street likes that. The revenues were also above estimates. By the way, Bharti is picking up a bit of pace now. It's up almost about 0.3%. The India business was strong, so the street is buying into the dip there. Let's do one thing. Let's slip into a short break. Up next, we have a very special guest joining us, Mr. S. Velayan, the MD of Tube Investments and of the Murugappa Group, is joining in to talk about not just their auto business. They're also going to talk about a slew of other businesses, CG Power, Chola Mandalam, etc. So all of that lined up. And in a bit, we'll also connect with Rahul Mithal, the Chairman and Managing Director at RITES, to discuss their Q3 FY22 numbers. Stay tuned.